As we go through this much prophesized shift of the ages, it's interesting to know that unfolding consciousness is paralleled by unfolding geometrics. But what does that even mean? Well, as luck would have it, we have an angel to explain this, along with a living, breathing Melchizedek amongst us in human form by the name of Drunvalo. Drunvalo applies his Melchizedek wisdom to explain one specific key geometry, how it was birthed into existence, and how this changes everything for humanity. Our show explains all, along with some simply incredible things that we have to look forward to once we've navigated our own personal shift through the frequencies. And of course, this is the reason we came to the planet in the first place. Furthermore, in recent weeks we spoke about the three-part energetic process that began life in Atlantis, continued with the Crucifixion, and only now is ready to surface to assist in humanity's metamorphosis of consciousness. In our show, Jeshua explains how this will look and feel, along with the implications and choices for each and every one of us. Hi there, everyone. This is John Drew here from Elevated Planet.
And Jolie Gabrielle here from Elevated Planet, and we'd like to welcome you to this Sunday's show where we're diving a little bit deeper into all the subjects about unconditional love, the Essenes, Yahshua the Messiah, and John's going to tell us more about it.
Yeah, today we have a voyage to fantasies, right? Which sounds weird and wonderful. And, this is where the future of humanity is being revealed. And so we have some masters to tap into today to kind of help to paint the picture of where we're going. And what I love about this is it is so upbeat. It is so positive. In a world where you look externally and you find various reasons to kind of like drop into, whether it's fear, anger, whatever, because that's how we're being tested. That's how we're being tested. Can we really still climb on our eagle's perch and, still tap into our kindness, compassion, and all the rest, but not get drawn in? Because all the power is within. And, this is what you get out of this today. I think it's really very self-empowering. And it tells us how our priorities should be. Obviously, we have a choice. We have a choice about how we want our lives to play out. And that is indeed as it should be. And there could be some people who will look at this and think it's deluded nonsense, and that's fine because that's where they are on their journey. And every view is honored because we're all unique expressions of divine creation for a reason. And it's what makes the whole. It makes us powerful. Diversity is a strength, not a weakness. So that's what we're going to do. Now, I wanted to just kind of make one or two little notices to start off with today. First off, I always forget to mention this, but we are a donation-based channel now. I always forget, and therefore, what's the point in being a donation-based channel if nobody even realizes it? But yeah, there is a link in the details below which gets access to our PayPal. There's also Super Chat and things like that you can do on YouTube these days, which do get to us nowadays. Back in the day, we'd never see any of that, but now we do. But yeah, just if anybody is in a position to give, to spare anything to help us with the costs and the future development of Elevated Planet, we are really exceptionally grateful. However small, however modest that might be, the cost of a cup of tea for £2 or $2, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So, and again, for anybody who can afford to support us, we are very, very grateful. Had a really interesting ramble with Ruah. Ruah Bull this week, spiritual director. She's brilliant. I love her. She has a great understanding of so much. She may be more of a Christian faith kind of person, but she studied it all. She's been there in the Eastern traditions. She's, looked at the, indigenous kind of shamanic kind of thing as well. So all these different aspects have been, have made her the person that she is. She understands all about the plant divas, and I find it fascinating. But the spirit animals, my spirit animals, were digging under the surface of that, and that was very interesting, finding my inner squirrel. But not just that. But we'll be producing that probably sometime next week. So watch out for that one hitting the airwaves, the Ramble with Ruah. Really interesting stuff. We're going to be bringing out some new meditations by Jole, which are just standalone meditations around health and well-being is one of them. Weight loss is another one for those who are interested in that. And as ever, just we usually save this till the end of the show, but please like, share, and subscribe. If you're out there, if you like what we do, please do press the like button. Please do share it with others because it's the only way we can grow our community because we don't register very high on the algorithm for YouTube. So we're the only ones who actually do it. So there we go. And subscribe, of course. Subscribe to the channel. If this appeals to you, then we love having you on the journey with us because as I see it, this is our unfolding development shared with the community. And quite often the inspiration for our shows comes from community members who share things with us and think, oh yeah, that would be perfect to share across the community. Or we do it on the newsletter as well. So anybody who wants to be part of the newsletter, drop me an email to johndrew@elevatedplanet.life and I'll make sure you go on the distribution list. And notice as well for our moon alchemists out there who are doing our Create Your New Reality with Moon Alchemy meditations that we've created for you, because today is the day of the new moon in the USA, not in the UK or Europe, but because that's tomorrow. But what that means is that with the new moon, of course, is that all your meditations that have been curated for you, today is the day for the next 14 days to steep yourself in that, to bring your manifestations to life and use all your emotions, your creativity, your imagination, your gratitude to get really into the heart of that. And it makes such a difference, such a difference. And it's so enjoyable to do anyway. I know Jolie and I, we will be doing ours as well. But if you're in the UK or Europe, your new moon's actually on the 15th of June rather than the 14th. So just bear in mind that for UK and Europe, that starts tomorrow. Again, anybody who wants to be part of that or is curious about it, I'll put in the description below the little 3-minute video we've got to talk around it. But just drop me an email again to johndrew@elevatedplanet.life. Anything you want to add to that, Jolie, before we start to move on a bit?
John, I think you summed it up quite nicely. So let's get started.
Cracking. Wonderful. Well, so today's show is very much a Melchizedek kind of focus in a way, because we start off with a little section by Alariel, the angel, who was one of the group of 12 who supports the Melchizedek consciousness and the Melchizedek teachers throughout the universe, right? So that's basically part of what he has done. He's also here now to help the Christian children who are there now to bring forward the new consciousness as well. So that's part of Alariel's role. And, to tap into that level of wisdom, it just comes through. And again, this comes through the books by Stuart Wilson and Joanna Prentice. And we've done this particular section before. And in fact, this is its own video now as well, which for anybody who wants to share it with anybody else. Because I think that for this, repetition is really important because it reinforces the truth of who we are, and it is a thing of beauty. So forget the density of the world around you right at this point, because this is our future. And this is why it's a voyage to fantasies, because Alariel sets the tone for this. Then we have a section with Drunvalo Melchizedek, which you will see with Viola Rose, our friend and a fellow community member, Viola, who did an interview with Drunvalo. Thank you, Viola. And we're taking a short section of that. And again, the link to that full video is actually in the description below already. So that will be there to tap into. So then we'll come out the other side of that and discuss it. But yeah, it's going to be a wonderful show today, and hopefully uplifting and empowering. So bear with me a second. We are going to switch screens.
Unfolding consciousness is paralleled by unfolding and developing geometrics, giving the whole process an essential unity that could not be achieved by any piecemeal design or random combination of elements. Intelligent design expressed in mathematics and geometrics governs the whole process of universal creation and unfoldment. A design managed and implemented by the angelic host, and sustained by the technology of light. This system incorporates both physical and spiritual evolution in order to generate the greatest possible diversity of life, manifesting in countless star systems across millions of galaxies. This broad sweep of life produces ever more subtle and harmonious forms and expressions of consciousness, as each life wave moves through its natural cycle of development. Physical evolution may produce diversity of form and function, but only spiritual evolution can produce diversity of consciousness. In the aggregate of all the consciousnesses in all the galaxies, you begin to glimpse the vastness of Father, Mother, God. This totality of all that is continuously develops and evolves, and your human evolution is part of that wider process of development. You have been the unconscious children of God, but are now becoming conscious leaders of the process of change and spiritual growth. It is time to put away the limiting beliefs and authoritarian values of your earlier history and stand forth as the empowered and God-illumined beings that you really are. This is the destiny of an awakening humanity. As creation moves into co-creation and the true purpose of the universe begins to emerge into your understanding, though you have achieved much and traveled far upon your spiritual pilgrimage, the vastness of your adventure into consciousness is only just beginning. You are starting to outgrow the limitations of this small planet, and as your illumined consciousness transcends its boundaries, you become masters of all the laws of mind and matter, travelers upon the higher planes of being, citizens of the universe. This is the real purpose of your lives, not to push out a little way into space, but to explore all the possibilities of consciousness and being. The more you explore the realm of consciousness, the more you transcend the illusion of duality and enter the reality of oneness. That is your passport to limitless being. Through this process, your relationship with your environment changes and you cease to view nature as something to be conquered. From this new perspective, you will begin to understand how well the universe has nourished you and provided for your needs. And in this new understanding, you will begin at last to see the greater purpose behind it all. Originated through intelligent design and developing through the processes of physical and spiritual evolution, the universe provides an ideal theater for the subtle play and interplay of consciousness. Through aligning your lives with this broader understanding, you will increasingly sense the existence of a deeper level that restores and nourishes you. At this level, there is nothing to understand, nothing to remember, and nothing to do. At this level, there is no tension or conflict, for here the Father energy of peace and the Mother energy of love are united in the mystery of oneness. Here there are no questions to ask, no difficulties to struggle with, and no burdens to carry. Here, understanding gives way to knowing, and all your hearts are healed.
It's very, very important to understand where everything is leading to. We're in something that we've been in for 4.6 billion years with a hydrogen sun, and all of a sudden it dies right before our eyes, and a new sun steps forward, which is the helium sun, which is based on different principles. And so everything that we've been doing for the last 4.6 billion years is not as valid as it was then. And it's going to affect marriage and how people come together, and it's already happening with the children. So when you look at the book, you notice that there's 3 flower of lives on there, one on the left, one on the right. One on the left is this one is male, and it's a vertical line, and the other one is horizontal, it's female. And when you take the 2 images and slide them together, that's what you're seeing on the cover, the male and the female.
It's so beautiful.
It's something that is going to be a big deal from now on for a very long time, because the universe is changing according to this image. It's going to take a while to understand what it's saying because we've never seen this before. But think about when you first saw the flower of life. You know, you didn't know it had all this information was associated with it. Practically everything in book 2 was based from it. But now, book 3 is based on this one. It's based on a new image that is going to be extremely important in the future, starting prior to this time. And it's going to give us new abilities that we can't even believe it. If I told you what you're about to go into, you would just think I'm crazy. But it's not crazy. It's really true. And we're about to change everything that we know. Everything we know. There's teachers that have quietly just sat there and just done it and learned. And they now are learning how to put other pieces together and make things work. And as they do, they go up, and all their students go up in consciousness. And as we do, the whole world goes up in consciousness.
It's like we're all uplifting each other.
Yeah, we are. And it is not a race. It's not anything like that. It's just something that is possible. And if you teach what's possible, people will understand, and they will be able to go into higher levels of consciousness. And as they go into higher levels of consciousness, they begin to know things for no reason. They just know. They just understand what the person's starting to talk about. And this is where a lot of the ETs are now. They have incredibly beautiful spaceships to take them anywhere and they want, and instantly their Merkabas can turn into houses, and big ones if you want, got a lot of people. And you have so many things inside of your new Merkaba that you probably wouldn't know what it is, but the NI that's in there, you just say, okay, what are all these things? They go, oh, that's okay. They go, and all of a sudden you know what all of them mean and how to use them. And you don't need anything else. And you can just keep going until your little Merkaba is a school. It teaches you how to be beyond what you think you are. Life is beautiful, and it gets better and better. And I want you to be happy and to understand that you have been given something that is really worthwhile. And as you start learning from one thing to the next, and sometimes you'll get into areas that it's hard to believe that it's even possible. But just, if you can do it, do it. And just keep going. We love you very much. And thank you for all the good work that you've done for people other than yourself and your family. Thank you.
So I love that because, to see Drunvalo looking so well, so healthy, so absolutely on his game. And the full video is, like, interesting enough, 44 minutes, 44 seconds. And that is what is linked in the description below. And it's certainly well worth watching that in total. But I love the fact you can see there's a playful excitement about what's to come, about Drunvalo and how he shares all this. And I'm delighted to say that, since the book was available right at the end of March, I was struggling to get it in the UK because, to ship it was costing a lot more than the book itself. I thought, I'll wait, it'll be available in the UK. Still not available in the UK. But what I discovered is that through going through the website, which is the rememberingtheheart.com, which is the one where you get access to all the certified Awakening the Illuminated Heart teachers, that's where you get access to them. But there was also a link there for Amazon US where it was for sale. And it cost me only like $8 or something to actually move it from the US to UK. And I actually put the order in on Tuesday. It arrived on Friday. So I now have it, my own illuminated, Awakening the Illuminated Heart version of the Flower of Life, the volume 3. So for anybody in the UK who's been similarly frustrated, just go onto that rememberingtheheart.com, or go into Amazon US and you'll find it there and you'll be able to ship it over to the UK. And it literally took about 3 days, which amazed me. It was so efficient. Anyway, I've had the chance to start to read the book. The book is immense, right? And it's interesting because it's all about, this intelligent design and geometrics that maps out our future, advanced mathematics and all the rest of it. And again, that also brings me back to the likes of Chris Stiles, who's the human futurist, who gets deeply embedded into the advanced mathematics side of things and has been evolving what he's been doing. But these evolving intelligent design geometrics are important, are really interesting. And if you look at the number one, the volume number one there, which was in fact a male flower of life, and I didn't even realize this until I saw this week. But having the verticals there, okay, through the flower of life, and then volume two, which again is the female version because you've got the horizontals going across. And then volume three, as we know, has the emergence of both one on top of the other, the blending, harmonious blending of the male and the female flowers of life, which makes sense. This is our time of evolution. So part of this evolution is to have the advanced geometrics which harmonically balance the male and the female aspects of the flower of life. Wow. I love that. Now, one of the things I wanted to address, if you like, was the quote from Drunvalo that the hydrogen sun dies or disappears right before our eyes. Now, I don't know anybody who has noticed that the sun has changed. Now, when I heard this about 3 months ago when Drunvalo was first talking about this, and it was talking about it's more of a goldy bluey kind of color. And when I was able to check it out, I thought, yeah, I see that. I see that. Now, nobody's out there saying, get Stefan Burns, who, like a lot of the people in our community, we love Stefan, right? And he's always exploring the sun. And it didn't, you never had one day where he suddenly said, oh, by the way, he's a different sun, right? Oh, yeah, it used to be, hydrogen and now it's helium. No, but how would something like this happen? Because again, if we think about it, we are part of a holographic universe, right? For those of us who believe that, and I certainly hand on heart do believe that we are part of a holographic universe. Now, there is a stasis position, and again, where I learned this was through the work of Dolores Cannon, the Convoluted Universe, and various other books as well, where she, again, through her clients under deep hypnosis, were explaining that at a higher consciousness level, what can happen is that whoever's controlling this holographic universe, they can effectively put us all in stasis for, say, 3 days. There was something that had to happen. I remember there was something that had to happen with the moon. We were put in stasis for 3 days. Now, for us, it was just 1 second leading into the next. But in the reality of it, if you like, again, time is an illusion. It's part of the third dimensional kind of energy. But nevertheless, everything shut down for 3 days whilst certain changes took place which were necessary behind the scenes. But for us, nothing changed. So how would one sun disappear and another will come in? There you go. There's an answer. I don't know it's the answer, but to make sense of what Drunvalo says there, because I didn't see it disappearing or dying before my eyes with a new sun taking its place. But I think that is the answer. We dig back into Dolores's work and we can kind of find out how these things really do work. And we're about to change everything we know. One of the things, again, I found this really interesting. The pineal gland. Everyone's pineal gland was suddenly shut off about 6,000 years ago. This is something that you learn in the book. It's something that you also learn within that interview, that 44-minute version. And they don't know why all of a sudden everybody's pineal was switched off. Pineal is so important, but it's coming back online again. So, we have access to the pineal. You can work on it. But the way that Drunvalo's actually exploring this and going into this now, it opens up a whole new relationship with your pineal gland. Your pineal gland, between your pineal gland and the sacred tiny space within your heart, you have the entire universe. You have everything. You don't need anything outside of yourself. Once you kind of access this is why the power really does exist within. The book, I only got through the first few pages of the book at this point in time, but it is so readable because one of the things you get from the first two, you had to always take a step back, read a couple of pages and take a step back and try and work your way through it. Now, having done the workshop already, the Awakening the Illuminated Heart workshop a couple of years ago, it helps. It helps now, but reading through the latest book, it is put very clearly. And you can kind of understand exactly where Drunvalo's coming from. And he's not working on this alone. He's working with, apart from anybody else, Mackie Vender, Melchizedek, who he's been working with. And apparently he is over 18 billion years old, is Mackie Vender. But, you know, again, time is a completely different thing once you're outside our realm. But he's been learning so much. He's been learning from the ETs. He spent years actually in the Pleiadian star system before he came to Earth. Even you know, I mean, this is a different realm entirely. But he is here for such a special reason. I love Drunvalo's work. I love what he does. I love where he's taking us. I see his excitement, and I'm really excited myself about the fact that he knows where we're going and he knows how brilliant it is. So, with that said, I want to bring Jolay back in for your thoughts, please, Jolay.
I think you summed it up nicely. And with the Drunvalo, Melchizedek energy, you know, is there for everyone. It is a light-based energy that comes in, that works with the pineal gland. And this energy moves itself all the way back to things like the Messiah, that Christ consciousness energy. Melchizedek is coming through now for us and giving us some of these secrets and opening the doors for us to expand. So I'm very excited as well to unpack this some more and for this third book to really bring together the male and female. And then what does that create? That creates an energy of childlike joy and wonder, because when the male and female come together in our realm, it has a tendency to push creation, right? We get the inner child or the childlike energy. So it's really just a great circle of us moving back into that energy of innocence, of wonder, curiosity, and of course, joy and unconditional love. So I'm ready to go.
Brilliant. No, it's really well put. And it did make me just think, actually, you know, because Drunvalo's working on book 4, which completes everything. That's it, you know. And as he says during the interview, he says, assuming I live that long, but he's definitely working on it now. And he's looking well, he's looking healthy, and I'm delighted to see that. And he's full of enthusiasm. And I'm convinced he will get book 4 out there before too long. And that, again, is going to be a companion to this book. But thinking about it, Jolay, right? So if you've got the masculine flower of life on the first one, you've got the female flower of life on the second one, which means you've now got the combined male female flower of life. So maybe the fourth one has got to be something that represents the child, the you know, the
Yeah.
creativity maybe in the geometrics.
Yeah, or maybe it's just all the cycle, you know, it cycles back around, creating this beautiful flower of life, you know, because it is a consistent, I don't know how you say, a consistent form. Let's just
Yeah,
put it that way. Even
yeah,
though it's moving and alive, it's a consistent form in flow.
yes,
So it's really
yes.
beautiful.
Yeah, and it's an interesting point again about the flow, because this is what Alariel talks about with the geometrics as well, is that everything is in a constant state of flux. It's not just a geometry and it stays like that. There is flow
Right.
that goes on between the geometries, and you know, there's people that make sense of that and understand that, and that's how our future is being mapped out. So it's exciting.
Yeah, I
Okay,
agree.
so shall we head towards the next section then?
Yes, let's move.
Okay. So we're going to Elizabeth April. She had a GFL Summit, which she does once a month and once every quarter. And I tapped in for a previous one back in March. She has this really interesting one. Not that they're not always interesting anyway, but rather than go with predetermined questions, she goes to the GFL completely open and said, "What does humanity most need to know now?" And it's really interesting information that comes through. And we're going to cover that off more towards into next week because it really is good. We need to break it down. We need to work out what it means for us as humanity, and it's fascinating stuff. But one of the things she did towards the end of the show, she said, she just suddenly felt inspired to actually remote view with Jesus, with Yeshua. And she's done that before. And, interestingly, he came through in the same kind of way this time as well. So he's not GFL, but Yeshua is his own energy source and consciousness. And it's this amazing, enormous, when she sees him, he's an enormous being. He's an enormous being. But what happens is that there's this, he's not in human form, but it's ethereal. And then there's all these wisps come off from this garment that is like gold kind of life force energy, and it will reach out and connect with you. So that's why Yeshua can answer millions of prayers at once and connect with people, and he connected with Elizabeth. And what came out of it was really good. And all we're doing, because again, this is a pay-for-view kind of thing, and we paid for this, but I wouldn't put Elizabeth's work out in total like that because again, that's for anybody who wants to go to elizabethapril.com, they can actually see it in its totality for itself. But we're gonna certainly lift the information and just share. But this last little section, when she connected with Yeshua, I found really, really powerful, based off where we've been in previous weeks. Okay, so with the show, we learn about the anchoring process, that the crucifixion took energy, this bolt of energy, into the core of the earth, which only now is ready to emanate back up for humanity to be shared, which is why the crystal children have come in from year 2000 onwards, because they're here to help to communicate this around the world and help us all elevate our consciousness. Now, bearing that in mind, I don't think Elizabeth watches Elevated Planet, but because I do watch Elevated Planet, because I'm part of it, this resonated with me straight away. And you'll know what I mean. Bearing that in mind, what I've just said, when I play you this short clip, this is the last part that she talked about when she'd been communicating, remote viewing live with Yeshua. And, well, I'll just let it speak for itself. So bear with me a second. We're going to switch screens and go to Elizabeth.
So I asked him, is there anything else? Like, are there any last messages or whatever? And so he said, he was talking about the return of Jesus, but really that Christ consciousness energy, and how everyone is going to be prompted to find that in themselves. So, I don't know why it's so intense. It's making me cry or whatever. He gave me this image, and I don't even know how to describe it, but so he gave me the image of planet Earth, and he said that the Earth is about to be infused with his frequency. So I don't know how, he didn't explain how. I don't know if it's a solar flare. I don't know if it's him coming down and doing something. So he gave me this image, okay, of planet Earth and the core of the planet, and how it's it literally looked like the core of the planet was getting infused with this beautiful swirling golden Christ consciousness energy. And then from that golden energy, it was shot out, okay? And then it's it went through all of these sort of portals all around the planet. It hasn't happened yet, but this is about to happen. I don't know when. It could be 5 years from now. I'm not sure. Time, obviously, for him is just so irrelevant and different, but he's this is about to happen. It's going to happen in our lifetime. I literally just don't know when. It's the golden frequency infused into the core, coming outward, okay, across the entire planet. It's it's interesting because usually source frequency, God frequency, comes in through the crown chakra. It looks white. This is so different. It's coming up through the ground, through our base root chakra and up our systems. And he said, that's interesting. He didn't say there's going to be a moment of great judgment. He didn't say that. That's sort of the implication that I'm getting. It's going to be a moment of judgment. I'm just going to use those words, okay? But he said, so I said, how is that going to happen? Everyone's going to be infused with this Christ conscious energy. And he said there's going to be a moment of choice, essentially. And the choice is going to come down to, and this is fascinating. This is what it is. And this is, I don't know why it made me cry. It still made me cry. It's like the choice or the judgment, when this energy comes through, it's not how good of a person are you. It's not how much you love humanity. It's not how much unity you want for the world. It's not how much spiritual you are, how much you read the Bible, how much you pray, how much you believe in aliens. It's fucking none of that. It comes down to how much do you love yourself? And he said that everyone right now on the planet who is diving into this darkness, who is gaslighting others, who is becoming narcissistic or completely removed from the objective truth of reality, the people who are angry and spiteful and corrupt and narcissistic and projecting, I think we can all think of at least one of those people in our life. We know this, but he's saying that it has nothing to do with anyone else. Those people are being confronted with how much they love themselves or how much they don't love themselves. And they are taking that inner hatred and fear and judgment, and they are projecting it onto anyone and anything else in order to justify the lack of unconditional love they have for themselves. I don't know why that makes me want to cry. It's like, I think it just gives me so much compassion for those people who are so mean and angry and gaslighting and projecting and narcissistic and just want to bring everyone else down around them. We know this. We know they don't love themselves, and that's why they feel the need to do that. But it's like, I don't know. For some reason, when Jesus says it, it just changes it. It just makes it so much more impactful. The time of great judgment is coming, and we're not being judged by God. We're not being judged by Jesus. We're being judged by ourselves and the love that we may or may not have. So how do you show yourself love? How are you not showing yourself love? How can you show up for yourself more? How can you talk nicer to yourself? I don't know if that grammatically makes sense. How can you be kinder on yourself? Have more compassion for yourself? If you're angry or resentful or fearful, it's just an inner reflection on the lack that you may be possessing.
So the day of judgment is upon us, and we're not being judged by God. We're not being judged by Jesus. We're being judged by ourselves. And it comes back to how much do we love ourselves? Because we're all aspects of divine energy. And, you know, this is basically where it comes back to, right? And I understand, you know, when you saw the show in its entirety, you understand why Elizabeth was as moved as she was, because I know that when she connects with the energy of Yeshua, and this has happened before, is she has to bubble herself, as she puts it, because otherwise she gets so emotional that she, you know, she just basically breaks down, because the love, the unconditional love that comes from Yeshua is so deep. It's anything beyond you get in the 3D version of reality. And it's overwhelming in the most positive way, but to communicate at the same time is difficult. And even despite the bubble, she still, you know, was struggling to to keep her composure, but it was understandable. And again, it was from the heart. You just know that. But this idea that 2,000 years ago, Yeshua, working with the Essenes, working with the Kulu, the ancient race from Atlantis, and the energy lines and everything else that was involved in that moment, the crucifixion that created the anchoring of the energy into the core of the earth in readiness for the time that we're in now. So that's what struck me when I listened to this, is that this is the energy that we've been talking about in recent weeks that has been infused within the core of the earth that is now coming back to us. And it is Christ consciousness. It is unity consciousness. It is the second coming. We are all the second coming because we all have all the aspects of the divine within us. But how do we connect? How do we find that self-love? And I find this really amazing. So the Galactic Federation thing was great, and we will cover that off more next week. But this is really all about, from root to crown, this is the energy that is going to come back to us. Whenever that's going to happen, it's uncertain, but soon was the way it was put. Coming back very soon. Now, very soon, as Elizabeth said, could be 5 years from now. It could be tomorrow, right? Who knows? But at the end of the day, it's coming from the center of the earth and upwards and through us, through the root, through to the crown, rather than we expect energies to come in from the outside. But this is quite the opposite. So that's really all I want to say on that, because I think, it speaks for itself, really. But I'm going to bring Jolie in back now for your comments. What do you think, Jolie?
Unconditional love is a practice. It's not just something you're like, oh, it's a practice that is able to harness that energy that is coming up through Mother Earth. Now, we don't have to do much. It is very true in that the Spirit loves us and the Spirit's going to give us what we need. But thinking that and beginning from a place of, I am worthy and deserving, it is safe for me to be here, really allows for that energy to expand. So if you're asking yourself, well, what does self-love or unconditional love look like for me? It begins with worthiness. So each day you're doing things that increase your feeling of, I belong here, I am worthy. 10 toes down, I stand up for myself, I plant my flag, right? And then another part of that would be giving other people the space to exist, encouraging and inspiring them to live. How? Through your own neutrality. That's another big one, right? These are like the breadcrumbs to being able to get to unconditional love. Because when we're neutral, we're doing what Miguel Ruiz teaches us, is that the four agreements, right? Don't take anything personal. You don't, that's one of them. The other three you can look up. That's the one I remember the most. Don't take anything personal. And that right there is huge in moving into a state of unconditional love. Um, Letting things roll off your back, using the totem of the duck, allowing for things to just move through you and come out the other side of that whole again. So, what's another thing I can add to that? Having a routine, the physical body, right? Having a routine, and it's going to look different throughout the phases of your life. But that's how you ground your energy to be able to take in what Mother Earth is giving you, is by having a routine and rhythm throughout your day, and these things really help, and allowing for things like meditation to come in. If you think that I sit down every day and meditate like this, at nighttime I do before bed, but throughout the day I am constantly dropping in and saying, I love you, Mother Earth. I'm so grateful. There's so much greatness in you. There's so much greatness in John. There's so much greatness in Elevated Planet. I'm so grateful to be here. This is how much I want to make a year. Mother Earth loves me. So I'm constantly saying these things. Now, do negative thoughts come in my mind all the time? But the thing is, I'm learning how to pick up that phone to the pineal gland, right?
Yeah.
It's in
Yeah.
my head, but whatever that line is, I go back based on what I've learned from Drunvalo. I go back and I speak specifically to my pineal gland and I say, look, this is what I need. And I have a serious conversation with it. I don't just, prostrate to my pineal gland or to my creator. That's not what this is about. I integrate and I begin to develop a relationship of unconditional love. My creator is not vengeance. I'm not a sinner. I am not going to the lake of fire. That doesn't exist in my world. What does exist is a constant state of loving flow. And so that is what we're trying to get to. And that is what Mother Earth has for us. So when we sit in that energy, it's like it just floods and fountains out of us and into the universe. So I just want you all to know that the spirit is always there for us to speak with, but we just don't listen. We think Neil Donald Walsh and a few others are the only people that can talk to God, but the creator, the energy, the divine creator of all that is, talks to all of us. That essence is within us, and we can access it through working with our pineal gland, our hearts, and our chakras.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's a really good point. That and building that conversation with your pineal is exactly what Drunvalo is leading us to.
Yeah.
And he's built up a relationship with his, and it's just like a two-way conversation all the time. Um, but yeah, and all the wisdom. It kind of made me think. It's like when people go into near-death experiences, for instance, and all of a sudden they know everything. As soon as they're over because the blockage with the pineal is now completely gone, right? So once
Yeah.
you're over the other side, your spiritual pineal or whatever, everything you ever want to know is there. And the same thing will become true for us once we're in our Merkaba, right? Lightship or whatever. We can ask any question and instantly just know the answer. And I believe that is that relationship, heart, pineal,
Yes,
that is established. We become this unstoppable force in the universe.
I agree. And also, let's just take a moment and honor that we are programmed to, I guess, lock in with time and the ticking of the clock, right? And we've bought into that. So to get to where I get this too, you're like, I have a practice, I have a routine, I have a rhythm, and my life still is looking exactly the same. But we have to understand that it took us years to get to this point of blockage. It took us years to get to this point of unsafety and unworthiness. It's going to take us a little bit of time to get out of it. So stay the course and try and build a community of support around you so that you can continue to be reminded that, hey, there's work to do here on yourself. Like I have groups in a text message, ding, I know that person has completed their meditation, right? So I do the same. I try to keep myself involved in reminders of connect with spirit throughout the day.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, no, it's super powerful, super powerful. And talking about connecting with meditation,
Are we ready?
I think so. I think so. So,
Okay.
okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back again to Alariel just to repeat that section again. So powerful, so well worth reinforcing the beauty of who we are and who we are destined to become. So bear with me a second. We're going to switch screens there, and then it will be followed immediately by Jole's guided meditation to lead us into some more magic. Here we go.
Unfolding consciousness is paralleled by unfolding and developing geometrics, giving the whole process an essential unity that could not be achieved by any piecemeal design or random combination of elements. Intelligent design expressed in mathematics and geometrics governs the whole process of universal creation and unfoldment. A design managed and implemented by the angelic host and sustained by the technology of light. This system incorporates both physical and spiritual evolution in order to generate the greatest possible diversity of life, manifesting in countless star systems across millions of galaxies. This broad sweep of life produces ever more subtle and harmonious forms and expressions of consciousness, as each life wave moves through its natural cycle of development. Physical evolution may produce diversity of form and function, but only spiritual evolution can produce diversity of consciousness. in the aggregate of all the consciousnesses in all the galaxies, you begin to glimpse the vastness of Father, Mother, God. This totality of all that is continuously develops and evolves, and your human evolution is part of that wider process of development. You have been the unconscious children of God, but are now becoming conscious leaders of the process of change and spiritual growth. It is time to put away the limiting beliefs and authoritarian values of your earlier history and stand forth as the empowered and God-illumined beings that you really are. This is the destiny of an awakening humanity. As creation moves into co-creation and the true purpose of the universe begins to emerge into your understanding, though you have achieved much and traveled far upon your spiritual pilgrimage, the vastness of your adventure into consciousness is only just beginning. You are starting to outgrow the limitations of this small planet, and as your illumined consciousness transcends its boundaries, you become masters of all the laws of mind and matter, travelers upon the higher planes of being, citizens of the universe. This is the real purpose of your lives. Not to push out a little way into space, but to explore all the possibilities of consciousness and being. The more you explore the realm of consciousness, the more you transcend the illusion of duality and enter the reality of oneness. That is your passport to limitless being. Through this process, your relationship with your environment changes and you cease to view nature as something to be conquered. From this new perspective, you will begin to understand how well the universe has nourished you and provided for your needs. And in this new understanding, you will begin at last to see the greater purpose behind it all. Originated through intelligent design and developing through the processes of physical and spiritual evolution, the universe provides an ideal theater for the subtle play and interplay of consciousness. Through aligning your lives with this broader understanding, you will increasingly sense the existence of a deeper level that restores and nourishes you. At this level, there is nothing to understand, nothing to remember, and nothing to do. At this level, there is no tension or conflict, for here the Father energy of peace and the Mother energy of love are united in the mystery of oneness. Here there are no questions to ask, no difficulties to struggle with, and no burdens to carry. Here, understanding gives way to knowing, and all your hearts are healed.
Feet flat on the ground, palms face up on your thighs. Get comfortable. For those of you laying down, please keep your feet flat for the beginning part of the meditation. Bring your awareness to the center of your chest and take a deep breath into your body. We're going to take another deep breath in and make the exhale a little bit longer than the inhale. As you get into this rhythm of taking a deep breath into your body, on the exhale, begin to relax each part of your body. You inhale unconditional love, and you're exhaling unconditional love. Inhale unconditional love. Exhale unconditional love. Allow this rhythm to have your heartbeat sync up with your breath. If you haven't already, build a portal from your heart to the center of your head, your pineal gland. This beautiful portal, it's golden. You could see it as a road with gold lights. You could see it as an opening, a swirling. Whatever you're comfortable with, move from your heart into the center of your head and take that unconditional love with you. It's there already, but take a little extra because the mind can be brutal. So as you sit in the center of your head, take a look around. Maybe you're standing because there is no place to sit. But we're going to work on cleaning out the center of our head from a place of love so that this Mother Earth energy that is moving up through our base chakra can expand up into our DNA, bringing wellness, and out into our environment, creating a life of unspeakable beauty. So as you travel from your heart to the center of your head, and you're standing in the center of your head looking around, just know that everything in there, we're going to clean it out, and all that shall be left is you, a little tiny you, about 2 inches, and a comfortable place to sit. As you have access now to that third eye, that brow chakra. So from this space in the center of our head, we're going to open our feet like we would the lens of a camera, and we're going to call in 85% earth energy, rushing as it's pooling into the bottoms of our feet, traveling up the side channels of our legs as that 6-inch in diameter grounding cord, boom, roots itself into Mother Earth. Our aura layers 1.5 feet around us. We see our higher self and we feel it standing at the power position above our crown, and our astral body is snapped into our physical body. Our soul architecture is in formation. As we open our brow chakra like the lens of a camera, and there are 2 roses to the right and to the left of our aura layer, about 5 energetic feet outside of it. These are our trash bags. Visualize or feel this energy, or just listen. Open your brow. What you're doing is you're sending out all the people, all the places, all of the things from your life. And if you want to, all you advanced studies from every timeline, level, plane, lifetime, just pull it out, pull it out, pull it out, or see it flowing out into these roses outside your aura. And then that 15% cosmic divine life force energy, it comes pouring down. It's just 15% though, so maybe it's a trickle, because what we're doing is we're filling up with the earth energy. The earth energy moving, that light moving from Mother Earth up into our bodies, sprouting out our feet, hands, and crown chakra, mixing in with that 15% cosmic life force energy. Why? Because we're working on clearing the trauma out of the body, clearing out the past. We are already divine beings of unconditional love as we connect with that pineal and we feed it that 15%. And that earth energy begins to just expand within our bodies as it mixes in. And now we work with our DNA. As you breathe with the rhythm of your body, command your pineal gland. Pineal gland, it is commanded that you bring up my DNA. And then your pineal gland is going to reveal to you the genetic coding that no longer serves, the ancestral energy that no longer serves, and the learning of all of the soul lessons, body, mind, and spirit. So any junk DNA, any DNA that no longer serves and is outdated and obsolete, it tumbles out of the strand to be replaced on a soul, core, genetic level, even historically, with the new DNA of wellness, of wholeness, one that is shrouded and covered and protected with unconditional love and unspeakable beauty. And I want you to see this strand be replaced where the other strand got resolved and dissolved by the earth energy and the cosmic divine life force energy, disintegrated and turned into something recyclable for Mother Earth to take back to her. And as this DNA is replaced, I want you to see it start replicating itself. What does that look like? That looks like a fountain of DNA sprouting out of your pineal gland, integrating with that earth energy, giving you a new, unique imprint of manifestation, wellness, unconditional love, and unspeakable beauty as this moves down the spine and it expands out into the nervous system, into every atom and every cell of your body. Feel this wholeness, this wellness move throughout every cell of your body. You are worthy and deserving of a life that is filled with health, filled with abundance, that aligns itself with the laws of the universe. You are new. Your pineal gland is there for you. Work with it as this essence fills up every single 50 trillion cells of your body. Now have this new information as it begins to sprout out of your feet, hands, and crown chakras, filling up your aura layer. Remember, you're sitting in the center of your head. You are the captain, the master manifester. So from this space, as this Mother Earth light begins to pour through you and to connect with that hydrogen sun and that new energy, I want you to see a new film. Allow for that light to illuminate your new reality with its foundation being unconditional love, which is who you are, as that 85% earth energy is so warm, moving throughout your body, but turbocharged by this 15% divinity telling you to get real. You are a big, beautiful ball of light and blessings. Why are you playing it small? Let it go. Release it down your grounding cord. Let Mother Earth turn it into something new, land, new attitude, new perspective, new ideas, new people, new places, new things, whole new reality. Here and now, in the present moment, you are grounded in this newness and protected by divine life force energy. Get it out of the center of your head. Move it into those roses outside your aura layer. This time, we've got a moon above our heads, calling back all of our light from the shadow. This new moon above our head is our new reality. Call your energy back from the shadow into that moon above your head as that trickle of divine life force energy. It only takes a drop. Superpowers this new moon, filled with manifestation. Make sure your thoughts are positive as that light moves through your pineal gland, showing you as you feel and see that new reality, as that earth energy solidifies it in you, couching that wellness in divine life force energy. It is sheathed around every single cell in your body, as well as your DNA. illness, dis-ease, bad attitude, anger, frustration, and stress is moving out of your body. Mother Earth is creating newness within you. This physical body is going to glow, is glowing and expanding as the aura layer is like a light bulb of beautiful white energy. And from this place, your pineal says, we're about to get in our spaceship. Merkaba is formulating all around you your unique energy signature of unconditional love is your spaceship to transcend this timeline of dis-ease, of illness, of hate. As you move it out down the grounding cord, Mother Earth takes it in. And that grounding cord, there's no need for golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles. And it is new. Mother Earth is making it for you. She's letting all parts of you know, I love you. I'm here for you. As you see your higher self reach up and grab that moon, bringing it down through itself as it moves down through your crown, integrating with your 50 trillion cells as those roses outside your aura layer begin to move about 10 feet away from you. Energetic. They blow up, turning into fireworks, positive, creative life force energy for anyone to use as that moon fills up your body, moves out into your aura layer, out into your environment, powering up that Merkaba as the rest of that energy moves down your grounding cord, bringing that moon alchemy and that earth energy together, rooting you into the reality of your new existence. Worthy and deserving of all of the good life has to offer. Sitting in the center of your head, having access to slide right down or through the portal to your heart, you're breathing with the rhythm of your body as that 85% earth energy mixes in with that 15% cosmic divine sprouting out of your feet, hands, and crown chakra in the most calming and well way, knowing that your DNA has been reprogrammed for wellness, wholeness, abundance, master manifestation, and your entire body and energy has been upgraded. So take a deep breath in. On the exhale, slowly and gently close the bottoms of your feet. Yes, baby, we were playing in the mud today. And that mud is that new life, that new reality that has been filled with divine energy. So slowly close your hand chakras. Take a deep breath in, close your crown chakra, and just feel that inner child just so happy, and that masculine and that feminine, left brain, left side, right side, are now whole, are now one and complete. You are the answer. You are what you're looking for, and you are completely made of unconditional love. So as you open your eyes, smile.
That was great. Love having the earth energy exploration there, switching it around 85% earth energy, right? And
Yeah,
if that's where the energy is going to be coming from, uh,
exactly.
pineal and yeah,
Mhm.
love that. Thank you, Jolie.
Thank you guys. It's such an honor. Each time I get to do it, it's incredible for me as well.
It's powerful, very powerful. So thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Okay, so shall we get ourselves into wrap up mode?
Yes, sir. Let's do that.
Okay. Right. Well, first off, just to say to the community, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here today. Thank you for your comments. Loving having you here with us. We are a community. Jolie talked about community earlier and the importance of having community around you at a time like this where everything is changing, as Drunvalo told us, right? Everything is changing. And there's nothing to fear. There's everything to look forward to. But, if you're unaware, and, that's when we can be beacons, like as a community, for those around us who don't understand the nature of what is actually happening and can help them to elevate as well. So I find that quite exciting. What do you think?
Yeah. And it's like we say, it's a process, and unconditional love, you got to figure out what that looks like for you because it's a verb, right? It's what does unconditional love look like? And we start with ourselves, and it's a really powerful movement into manifestation. And I grapple with too sometimes. This is wrap up mode, but I grapple too with, well, damn, I get up and I brush my teeth and I wash my ass and I do all the things I'm supposed to do. Isn't that unconditional love? Isn't that me loving myself? I pay my bills. No, it's a little bit deeper than that. What it is you're always on your own side. And you're not doing that in a self destructive way, but you're able to see yourself, your inner child, and say, I need to grow and protect and honor that, right? And that's kind of what we're moving towards. But what are the details of that? What does that look and feel like in your life? That's what you want to get to. That's your signature. And that's where you drill down.
Yeah. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. And Carol gave you a vote of thanks there. That was wonderful. Thank you, Joe, she said. The
Thank you.
meditation. And fantastic. Okay, well, for anybody who wants to be part of our distribution list for the newsletter that goes out tomorrow, where we encapsulate this along with a lot of other stuff and some fun stuff as well to keep it the joy within the newsletter. John Drew at elevatedplanet.life is where you can be added to the distribution list for that. So don't hesitate to reach out. Or if you have any thoughts, questions, suggestions, anything like that you want to share, or you want to be part of the Moon Alchemy meditations, just reach out to us and we can certainly look to sort that out for you. But other than that, Jolie, like, share, and subscribe, I suppose.
Yes, John, you know it. Like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget, we are donations based and very grateful for anything that you want to donate to our channel.
Absolutely, yeah. It's keeps the home fires burning, and we do plan future expansion in and to really get out there, and so we're very grateful for anybody who can help us to offset some of the costs at the very least at the outset. So anyway, I think that's it then. So thank you, everybody. That really has been wonderful, and look forward to next week where we're going to have a deeper dive on into the messages that are coming to humanity from the Galactic Federation. They are very, very worth listening to, as well as some
Yes.
more Yeshua as well. So fantastic. So Thursday, if you're around Thursday, come and join us for
Pam
the
Gregory.
Pam Gregory inspired global meditation as well. Other than that, love you all and
Yes. Thank
see you
you.
all soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.